Hey guys, Jeremy here from School of Wok, Covent Garden. It is Wok Wednesday this week and we're doing a Thai red curry. Thai red curry, much like any other curry, especially the Southeast Asian curries, always starts with a really good solid paste. The type of paste that you can freeze very easily, it's great to sort of make up a whole batch of it. So I've got some kaffir lime leaves here. I'm just finely chopping up. I've kept some whole to put actually into the curry when it's cooking later on. Now, everything needs to be finely chopped to go into the pestle and mortar. And that's just to sort of make it slightly easier on the sort of pestling and mortaring. So kaffir lime leaves are in. And then I've got most of these things over here for the paste already finely chopped up. So I've got some Thai shallots. Everything's sort of slightly sweeter in sort of Thai curry. So your Thai shallots smaller, sweeter than your classic shallots. Dry red chilies, I've soaked those in hot water for about 15-20 minutes. The longer you soak them, the softer they become. Loads of fresh red chili. That there is going to sort of really give it its base colour, but it's going to accentuate with some paprika later on. And then these things over here are really what make a Thai curry what it is. So we've got some finely chopped up galangal, and this stuff I've kept whole, but you don't know what that is. That is fresh turmeric. So that's going to go straight into there. I'm going to sort of bash that, finely chop it, and that will accentuate that red colour again. And if you can find this, then this is what we call finger ginger or lesser ginger. It's a four-fingered hand, much like a normal hand. But you don't really need a lot of it. It's kind of sort of more bitter-sweet than your classic ginger. If you can't find it, just use a bit of ginger. Then we've got some lemongrass, garlic, and then the rest comes over here. So some spices. You don't have to add these, but we've got some toasted cumin seeds, a bit of paprika, coriander seeds, and a bit of shrimp paste, which is currently making the kitchen smell pretty bad. So, turmeric. Bash that. Try not to touch it too much, because it will stain your fingers and make you look like you've been smoking for the last 60 years. Lesser ginger. Or finger ginger, same again. That's all going to be bashed through in the pestle and mortar. And then the rest of the stuff can pretty much go in as well. So your galangal, lemongrass, garlic, shallots, and your chilies. It's quite nice to add a little bit of coriander stalk to this as well. My stomach is rumbling already. This just adds a nice fresh flavour to your paste. It makes a massive difference making your curry paste from scratch. It does take a bit of effort with the pestle and mortar, and that's the best way. I always say Thai cooking and pestle and mortar is the #1 bit of equipment. What the pestle and mortar does is it sort of brings out all the natural sort of oils and flavours of the ingredients that we put into it. You can, of course, use a food processor to get it to a certain point, but you won't necessarily get as good a paste. But hey, if you're saving time, that works too. The little trick with the food processor is adding a bit of oil to the actual mix whilst it's being blitzed up. And that'll get it to a better paste. So straight through, give that a good... I'm going to start this off and then I'll add the spices. Just so I've got enough space. Even that little bit there has pushed everything down a little. So I'm going to start to add about a teaspoon or so of cumin. We don't want it over cuminy. I'm going to go for about a tablespoon of paprika, and that'll really accentuate and bring out the red colour of this Thai curry paste. A teaspoon of coriander seeds. We'll put the shrimp paste in last. And there is no special technique to this, just bash away. Later on you might want to stir it a little. Either way, once you get tired, pass it on to someone else. So it takes about 10 minutes of serious sort of bashing. You're going to add your sort of teaspoon of shrimp paste, and that will really give it a nice savoury flavour. Make sure that's really well mixed in too. And what you're looking for by the end of this is a much more sort of homogeneous paste, so that when you bite into your curry later on, it's not all sort of bitty, and it's really, really flavoured the base oil of the curry. Okay, look at that paste. That is just brilliant. Smells so fresh. So I'm doing a sweet potato and prawn red curry. Really, you can put whatever you want into a curry. It's quite nice to have sort of a little bit of carb, but with that natural sweetness. Other vegetables here, I've got some sugar snaps, a little bit of baby corn, and then these guys here are really cool. Very traditional. You won't necessarily get this everywhere, but that's a pea aubergine. So your pea aubergine, much like an aubergine, you have to cook it through for a good sort of 20 minutes or so, and it will just soften up and lose its sort of bitterness. So your sweet potato, it's really hard. Don't get this on.
Definitely don't.
Okay. Beautifully cut sweet potato there. Whew. Okay. Right, so your sweet potato, I want in nice size chunks, but not anything that will sort of take too long to cook. There's plenty of sweet potato there. Much like the aubergine or pea aubergine, that'll take the longest to cook with your veg. Baby corn, I quite like to just cut in half lengthways. And then your sugar snaps, just keep whole. Lime leaf, straight in with your sugar snaps, they can go in last. And then your pea aubergines, have as much as you want, but you just want to pick the stalks off. So cooking a Thai curry, you know, it's all about that, giving it time, take your time over it. It's one of those dishes that shouldn't be rushed. You can really enjoy the therapeutic nature of cooking. So, time to cook up. You do need a little bit of oil on the base of your pan to just sear your curry paste. I'm really going to smoke the kitchen up here. It's quite a slow sort of cook, so medium heat is good for this type of curry. I like mine quite spicy, and I want to bring out the sort of red colour as much as possible. So I'm going to use sort of 3 heaped spoons of my curry paste. As I said earlier, you can freeze the rest of that in ice cubes and then just pop it into a nice freezer bag once they're frozen. Then you can have a quick Thai curry whenever you want and not have to go through that, you know, pestle and mortaring every single time. Most importantly, when you're cooking your paste, I say cook it until the grassiness is kind of cooked out and all you smell is that sort of fresh aromatic of the paste. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes at least. And this sort of tempering of the spices makes all the difference. So what you want is a little bit of sticking at the bottom there before you add your coconut milk. And I like to add my coconut milk a little bit at a time. Stir that around, get all the stuff off the bottom of the pan. And what this does is eventually the oils will split from the coconut milk. So the solid and the liquid will split, and you get a really intense curry flavour underneath that sort of slight layer of oil. And you can see here I'm just sort of scraping the bottom to get all that flavour off the bottom of the pan. Once you've got your first bit in, you can go a little bit more generous at a time. Mix that in, bring it to a boil, and then when it's boiling again, add the rest of your coconut milk. So that gradual addition of the coconut milk creates a really nice, deep flavour in your curry later. The colour is absolutely awesome. Really nice and vibrant, mixed in with that coconut milk. So at this point, we can start to cook all your veg, your hardest veg first, so that super hard sweet potato can go in first, along with the pea aubergines. And then you can kind of layer your ingredients into the curry as it's cooking. So I'm going to put the pea aubergines in, and then my sweet potato. And that should cook through in about sort of 15 to 20 minutes. And then the prawns and the rest of my veg will take sort of 3-4 minutes to cook up at the end. So now, if you're cooking your curry just with sort of chicken and meat and simple sort of veg that cook quickly, like your beans, then you don't need any liquid really, or additional liquid. With sort of nice sort of starchy vegetables like this, a little bit of water or stock won't hurt. And that water will help just cook that through nicely without your sauce getting overly thick. And over time, your sauce will thicken up. So bring it to a boil, cover it with a lid, give it 15 minutes and have a check. So the curry's been going for a good sort of 15-20 minutes. My sweet potato is nicely softened but not sort of disintegrating into the curry. Now's the time to start finishing it off. So your last sort of 5 minutes or so, we've got different bits of flavour coming in. So I've got my whole kaffir lime leaves. That will just add that fresh, sort of citrusy, sweet flavour to the curry. My prawns will only take about 3 or 4 minutes, same as my sort of veg that I want to keep nice and crunchy. So actually I'm going to start to season this now. I've got some fish sauce and palm sugar. Of course, if you're making a veggie version of this, just take out the shrimp paste and replace your fish sauce with light soy sauce. I'm going to go for about 2 to 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. And then you can use normal sugar, but I've got palm sugar here. I'm going to go 1 spoon at a time. So 1 spoon palm sugar. And I want a nice balance of sweet, savoury and spicy. So just let that palm sugar melt through and then have a little taste. Ooh, that is good. I feel like it needs a little bit more palm sugar. Not too much, about a teaspoon should do it. You can really do this to taste, so you know what, we might give you a bit of guidance, but every tin of coconut milk is a little bit sweeter than the other. When you're dealing with natural ingredients, it's always good to taste as you go. Try that again. Oh, that's delicious. So, last few minutes. Your mange two can go in. Baby corn. They'll take sort of 3-4 minutes to cook up. And then I'm leaving my prawns till very last because they really don't take long at all. But again, they'll add sort of more natural savoury flavour to the curry. Prawns in. These are peeled and deveined already, so it's really easy. Give them a good stir around. Try not to break up your sweet potato too much. Cover that with a lid. 3-4 minutes, your curry's done. So my prawns have had about 3 minutes so far. They're just finishing off here. The last bits of sort of garnish I've got some Thai sweet basil. It's quite a hot day, so they are wilting a little, but straight in at the end. They do add a lot of flavour, so it's not just a sort of pretty garnish. You get a really nice natural sweet finish. So I like to pack it full of your sweet basil. A lot of people ask me if you can replace sweet basil with normal basil. It's not really my sort of preference. If you don't have it, just don't use it. Prawns have got a nice corally pink colour, so that's definitely done. Don't want to overcook that. Nice fresh pick of coriander leaves. So the whole idea of a Thai curry is obviously to have it with some steamed rice over the side, but it's quite a leisurely sort of cooking process. I can't wait to dig in. Now, I've just walked outside and the crew have eaten all of it already. So it's the first time that I'm trying it second. The sweet potato really works with the sort of sweet, salty, spicy sauce. I love it. I'm going to go again. If you want to know more, don't forget, guys, to subscribe to our channel. That is good.